guys, listen. It's not even that impressive anymore when we hear about a perfect profile. I mean, it shouldn't be possible, but a guy like Jonathan Taylor just last year almost did that. I mean, he had a dominator that was astronomical, size, speed out the ass, and even with all this great production and speed and weight, obviously, he had solid pass catching his last year, which all put together makes him a near perfect prospect. And even before him, we have Saquon Barkley. I mean, how could I forget? Number 2 pick overall. I mean, draft capital out the ass. Just right here. Athleticism, bar, he's everything. Maxed out. I mean, 233. He comes in that. Just an absolute hunk of a man. And, of course, good dominator and elite pass catching. But what if I told you that this year there was a prospect that checked none of the boxes? Well, after we've seen so many perfect ones, it's kind of hard to have one that checks none of the boxes, but lo and behold, here we are today with Larry Rountree of Missouri. Actually, I'm sorry. Larry Rountree the third of Missouri. The first two weren't good enough, so they had to get the third one, and he is truly a specimen. And not in a good way. He is perhaps the worst running back profile that will get drafted this year, and maybe ever. I don't know. I don't know the history. I mean, this guy's not very good though, and I'll show you why. He, unlike JT, unlike Saquon, when they check all the boxes, he checks none of the boxes. He does nothing well at all. So let's look at it real quick and see if there's anything good about him. Plot twist: there isn't. So we're gonna start here at a website called walterfootball.com. And you see Larry Rountree comes in at number 7 of the rankings, next to Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, 2 backs that you've heard of because they're good-ish. And he comes in at 7, which is a pretty respectable ranking. And his season is compared to A.J. Dillon of last year, which doesn't make sense to me, because A.J. Dillon is 247, I believe. No, 240. At 6'1". So he's about 30 pounds heavier, and he runs a 4.5. And Larry Rountree is 210, and he runs a 4.5. So if you're looking at comparisons, just like from a height weight thing, which is what I do, we have AJ Dillon, who is 230 or 240 rather, running a 4.5. And Larry Rountree running a 4.5 at 30 pounds less. But maybe it's something with like production. Dillon had a very high dominator, very, very high. And he was very heavy, very fast. That's why his appeal as a prospect was high, and it came in the form of a second-round pick by the Packers in a very notorious draft. He was drafted in the second round with great capital because he had lots of production in college. But Larry Rountree didn't really do that either. So, just like recapping this, Rountree, undersized, below the median weight of a running back, which is 215. He's 210. Projected to run a middling 40 at below average size, and it's compared to AJ Dillon, who, as we said earlier, is fast, heavy, and productive. Well, okay. Perhaps Rountree's profile says something otherwise. Let's see. Okay, let's go to his profile. You'll see that Larry Rountree has a 50% dominator, which is average. And it's not bad. I mean, you can kind of see the comparisons to Dillon, I guess. But here's the thing. Since 2017, there have been 2 players in college to have more carries than Larry Rountree. And they are Jonathan Taylor, who we talked about earlier, and A.J. Dillon. Okay? I mean, this is an obscene amount of work. I mean, he's passing guys like Zach Moss, J.K. Dobbins, guys who just get fed over and over and over. But his dominator is literally in the middle. It is the median dominator in the sample of dominator ratings. It's actually kind of impressive how bad that is. It's hard to have that high of usage and that low of a dominator. And get this. This was playing with Drew Lock for 2 years. A quarterback in the NFL. starting. I mean, he's not very good, but he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So he's not facing like that many stacked boxes. I mean, I don't think so. I didn't like watch the film, of course, but it seems hard to be that bad with NFL talent. I mean, he had Albert O too. Like, this is not an anemic offense, you know? This is a solid offense that has NFL talent. But Rountree is just sucking ass everywhere, right? So, okay, maybe he catches passes, right? Maybe he's a scat back, and maybe he can be successful. No, he's not. He is in the 17th percentile target share among running backs in college. So, let me get this straight. He had the third most carries in college since 2017. He turned that insane volume into literal middling productivity, which is hard to do. And he comes in with a 10th percentile yards per carry average, meaning 9 out of 10 backs in college are more efficient than him. And 5 out of 6 backs in college are better at catching passes than him. And he's undersized. Playing with NFL talent. Like, I don't know how you can get this bad. Like, it's not possible to be considered by a service the 7th running back in the entire draft and be this bad as a profile analytically. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. And as you'll see, I'm counting him the worst back that would be drafted, because Larry Rountree represents what you don't want in a running back. I mean, he's gonna get drafted. Like, if a service has him this high, then a team has him somewhere on the draft board, right? And he's gonna get drafted at some point. And he has an atrocious profile. The best case scenario, absolute pinnacle. Like, look at this. They have him projected in the 3rd or 4th round. Like, what the hell? Like, how? What? There's nothing to like about him, right? But okay, the absolute like first percentile outcome is him getting drafted to a team with a bad running back situation, and he can't beat out the starter. Like, he is not one of the top 50 running backs in the world right now. Like, he can't possibly beat out the starter right now. But how he is productive for you in fantasy is him going to a team with a bad running back and a good situation. Sorry, and him and the starter getting injured at that team, and him coming in and just eating empty volume and having like a 10 for 30 stat line and a touchdown. And maybe he can be a spot starter for 1 week in his career. But there's no situation where he's productive, because for running backs, you want someone that has one of these things. Either dominator, efficiency, size, speed, pass catching. You need one of these things to be successful, right? So if you're looking at a like a rookie draft and you see where's he at? Is there a Kenny Gainwell here? Maybe somewhere. Yeah, okay. You see a Kenny Gainwell, right? Great pass catcher. He can score points for you because, like, he can be an Austin Eckler type, right? I mean, a James White guy that can catch patches and be productive. Or you have Michael Carter. He catches passes, right? He can be a Thunder to a Lightning, or maybe a Javonte Williams, a guy that's gonna get in there, pound, be efficient, and get goal line catches, or no, carries rather. You need one of these things. You need one metric. You need one stat. You need one measure of you being great. But Rountree has none of them. Like, it doesn't make sense how he can possibly be productive. I mean, he needs to go to a situation that is so friendly, and then even when once he goes there, he needs injuries because he can't be efficient with his touches because he wasn't in college with an NFL offense or NFL talent, and he can't really. And since he can't be efficient, they're not going to give him volume. I mean, like, he proved that he can get volume, but the volume is so inefficient. Then why did you give it to him? He can't catch passes. There's nothing that says that he can be good. So my advice is, well, first of all, don't draft him specifically, or guys that look like him with a profile. But if you're staring at Larry Rountree or any small school receiver with a good profile or an athletic tight end, take the tight end. I mean, take the small school receiver. You don't want a Rountree or anybody like him. Okay, so once you get to the 4th, 5th, 15th round of rookie drafts, and you're staring at like an Albert O type, who was his teammate back in the day, or Darnell Mooney, a guy with a decent profile or a guy that's very athletic at the tight end position, go ahead and take one of those guys instead of Rountree, because there's no path for success for a guy like Rountree. It's not gonna happen. Okay, it's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. Don't do it. It's a burn pick. It's wasted. It's putting money in your toilet, flushing it down. I mean, there's nothing that can go right here. He can't catch passes. He can't be efficient. Even if he gets a bunch of volume, he can't be efficient. He's not of requisite size. There's nothing that he does well. Okay? So, next time you are staring at a Rountree and any player that has any one of these boxes checked, or a tight end that is athletic, or a small school receiver, take the other guy, because Rountree can't be successful. And anytime you're thinking about drafting a Rountree or someone that looks like him, profile-wise, don't do it. They have such a narrow margin of success. It's so small, the path for success in the NFL for a guy like this, that it's not even worth it. So don't do it. It's just a bad pick, okay? It's just a very bad pick. So yeah, go ahead and don't draft Rountree. Man, just don't. It's a very bad idea. And anybody that looks like Rountree, don't do it. This is a lesson on not only Rountree, but anyone that looks like him, profile-wise. You don't want backs that are undersized, can't catch passes, aren't efficient, and aren't productive. These are the 4 things that you want in a running back. And if someone has one of them, go ahead and push the button, I guess. But if you have 0 of them, like Larry Rountree,